Congratulations to Marie and Patrice. Another medal to celebrate belongs to Canada's Jeffrey Buttle, this one of Olympic proportion. Jeff arrived in Italy as a medal favorite based on his showing last year at Worlds, and he carried the weight of Canada's expectations right through to the Olympic podium. In the end, the World Championships in Calgary proved to be a harder journey. We spoke with Jeff about the agonies and thrills of the Olympic season and about his exciting future facing 2010. Jeff, thanks so much for being with us today. Let's go right back to the beginning of the year. It's been an amazing season for you. I know it started out in a little bit of a bumpy manner, and finally, after Skate Canada, you decided to change programs. Walk us through, or skate us through, all of that.
Yeah, no problem. The whole Grand Prix circuit, really, I was struggling in the long program, just trying to get a decent skate out of it. And it just got to the point where I was, crossing my fingers and hoping that it would be comfortable in time for the Olympics. And then I just decided that the Glenn Gould program was just going to be, it was too demanding of me mentally. The way the pacing of the music was, I would get so into it that my timing would get fast as well. So we just decided, like a week before Canadians, to go back to the Samson and Delilah.
When you finally got to the Olympic Games, did you feel like the weight of the country was on your shoulders? What was that kind of pressure like to deal with?
It's really weird. Normally for me, before a competition, I get a little bit stressed out and I get a little bit harder on myself. And then, so that was something I was anticipating before we left for the Olympics. But the training was going really well. I was, really relaxed, easygoing. And then once I got to the Olympics, it just it just hit me. Yeah, it's exactly it. It magnified. I was getting really hard on myself on practices. If I had the slightest error, like a wobble or something like that, then it wasn't good enough. And, I just started going down and down and down, deeper into this hole. And then finally, the day before the short, I sat down with Peter Jensen, a sports psychologist, and my coach, and we just basically, talked my way back up. And maybe I wasn't there, obviously, in time for the short program. It didn't go very well, but I was already on the way up. So that extra day in between the short and the long really, gave me that time.
Without asking you to divulge all the specific personal details, what was the turning point for you? What got you back on the ice and in the right attitude?
Well, I felt like once we arrived at the Olympics and I started getting hard on myself and practices were not going well, Lee was sort of constantly reminding me, saying, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so enjoy it, enjoy yourself. And then I found myself trying to force myself to enjoy my practices, and I'm like, this isn't right. I shouldn't have to force myself to do this. So, when we sat down, the three of us, basically it was just talking about what feelings I needed in order to perform my best. And I like to feel good, and I like to feel light, and I like to feel confident. So what are all of the little things that I need in order to feel that way? And, that's what I did.
So there you are, standing on the Olympic podium. You've got the bronze medal around your neck. Was it all worth it?
It was, absolutely. And even if I hadn't have been standing on that podium, the journey was worth it. And that was something I was told at the beginning of the year, by Kurt, was just that, enjoy the journey, because he says that moment does not last long at all. And he says the journey, the whole year of getting there is a lengthy period of your life, and it's something that when you look back, that, it's going to be those odd moments throughout the training that you're going to remember the most. So that's what I did. I enjoyed this season so much.
Was there another moment that stands out?
For me, the moment that stands out the most is the moment right before they call your name. And it's really awkward because it's just, there's no one else. There's 8,000 people in the audience, but I don't see them. And, everyone who had helped me while I was there, the team leaders and the doctors and sports psychologists, they're not there. It's just me and my coach. So, it was a really cool moment, just because he's been coaching me since I was 7. So it was nice.
Do you ever say to yourself, okay, I've got my warm-up, 4.5 minutes of a program, and then it's over?
It's weird. I think that sometimes, but never when I'm on the ice. I think it like when because I feel most nervous like maybe an hour before I compete or 2 hours before I compete. So I tell myself then, okay, just a 6-minute warm-up and a 4.5-minute program, and you don't have to feel like this anymore. And then once I get to the rink and I start warming up, I start getting in that mode, and then on the ice, it's more or less like enjoy these 4.5 minutes. Don't just try and get them over with, sort of thing. So, yeah, I usually think that a few hours before when I'm feeling nervous.
So the thrill of the Olympic Games, and then let's move on to Calgary and the World Championships, where I know you were really disappointed with the outcome there. What was going on? Was it Olympic fallout? What happened?
It's funny. I don't want to discredit the World Championships by any means, because any other year, those are, that's the competition. But, I know that this season I've been fully focused on the Olympics, and I really wasn't even thinking about Worlds until Olympics was over. So I know I wasn't giving it the credit that I should have. But at the same time, for me this year, the Olympics was more important. So I was happy to do well. So yeah, so after I finished skating at Worlds, I was mad. I was mad about how I skated for about 10-15 minutes, and then I sort of was able to take a step back and say, like, this was a really good season. This one competition, I didn't skate well, but I got to skate in front of a Canadian audience. So it was a really incredible year, and I'm not going to let one bad long program tarnish that.
And you certainly still have the Olympic medal hanging around you now.
That's right. No one can take that away from me.
If we look ahead, Jeff, past the Olympics, past Calgary this year, it's been a wonderful season. Let's look 4 years down the road to 2010. What can we expect from Jeff Buttle?
This year, more than any, I'll be making a lot of personal changes. I'm moving from Barrie to Toronto. I'm still going to keep my training center in Barrie, but I just feel that all of the extra things, getting stronger physically and stuff like that, I need to start working with a trainer more, on a more regular basis. So I'm going to have all of those outlets for me in Toronto. So I'll have, my personal trainer, our team doctor, I'll have a massage therapist. I just feel like in order to take it to the next step, I really need to treat this like a full-time job.
You mentioned about needing to kind of cement your support team. What other things do you think you need to add to move your skating to the next rung on the ladder?
I think knowing that I have the right support team for me, I can go to the competitions and feel confident about that. I think Worlds especially, I felt like I struggled, after Olympics, I struggled in that period, and I felt like I didn't have, the number of outlets that my competitors had. And I saw that my competitors had, all this support team with them, and I started wondering, like, oh, why don't I have that? And
it's that lonely thing again.
That's exactly it. So, you start feeling insecure, and that's not good by any means. So I think personally, that's something I need to work on, is that confidence level, and just feeling secure about myself.
I know you mentioned prior to the Olympic Games that some of Canada's greatest Olympians had given you advice. People like Kurt Browning, Brian Orser, Elvis Stoico. Now you are a member of that illustrious group as well. You are in the Olympic record books as an Olympic medalist. What kind of advice would you have for someone starting out?
I think for me, especially once I first arrived at the Olympics, I felt like I was trying to be someone else. I felt like I was trying to be a machine, someone who doesn't make any mistakes and is, jumps like a cat. But I think as the Olympics went on, I sort of realized that, what got me to the Olympics was skating for me and being myself. And why would I change that at the last minute? So I think for me, my big advice would be, be yourself at the Olympics.
Jeff, thank you so much for being with us today. The country and certainly the skating world is extremely proud of you, and we wish you the best congratulations for an amazing season.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
What an amazing young man. Congratulations to Jeff on his Olympic medal and to all of Canada's skating team for an outstanding season.